Welcome to the deep dive. So you've probably uh, dipped your toes into fasting already, right? You get the science, the benefits. Maybe you've played around with
Right.
schedules.
People have the basics down.
Exactly. Think of this as the next level. We're not going over the 101 stuff again. We want to pull out those, pro tips. The real stuff for making fasting actually work day to day.
Make it feel effortless, even enjoyable, and definitely sustainable. That's the goal.
Yeah, sustainable is key. So today it's all about those advanced strategies, the ones that help you weave fasting into your life without it feeling like a massive chore.
We're moving past just being curious about it. We're talking about building a practice that sticks around for the long haul.
Okay, first big idea, discipline. We always think about willpower, right? Like you just have to tough it out.
That's the common view,
Yeah.
white-knuckling it through the fasting window.
But what we're seeing suggests a different angle. Building rhythms, it's less about that constant internal battle of I can't eat and more like.
More like, okay, I'm just not eating yet. Because you've set up a rhythm, a pattern that actually serves you. It's a choice you've already made structurally.
Right. And the beauty of that rhythm approach is it cuts down on that daily mental grind, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. You align your fasting with your energy peaks and dips, your work stuff, family life.
Mm-hmm.
You're syncing with your life, not fighting it.
Syncing, not forcing. I like that. It's not about some super rigid, fits nobody's schedule.
It has to be personal. Tuning into your own body, your own life, designing something that feels, well, doable for you.
And that makes sense from a habit perspective too, right? These rhythms kind of automate the decisions.
Exactly. It takes it out of that moment-to-moment struggle, frees up brain space.
Okay, but let's be real. Life happens. You go off track, social event pops up, stressful day. You eat when you weren't planning to.
Happens to everyone. It's inevitable, really.
And the advice here is surprisingly gentle. No need to freak out or go to extremes the next day.
Yeah, that's such a crucial point. The urge is often to either give up completely, like, oh, I blew it, or to swing the other way and barely eat anything.
Which just sets you up for failure again.
Right. So the recommendation is simple.
Mm.
Just ease back into your normal rhythm the next day.
Like maybe aim for your usual 16.8, perhaps go for a walk, eat clean.
Get some good sleep. Basically a mindful reset. It hammers home that consistency over the long run beats perfection any day.
That feels much more sustainable, less pressure.
It's about flexibility and, honestly, a bit of self-compassion. Striving for perfection is usually a recipe for quitting.
Okay, let's shift to the eating window itself, because fasting really puts a spotlight on what you eat when you do eat, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's like it amplifies the effects of your food choices. Your body's more receptive after that fasting period.
So the quality really matters for energy, metabolism, just how you feel.
Hugely. And fiber is such solid advice.
Makes sense. Protein for fullness helps those satiety hormones. Fiber slows things down, steadies blood sugar.
And avoiding those, super processed sugary things when you refeed, that's just smart fueling after you've intentionally held back.
Yeah, you don't want to undo the benefits immediately. And hydration, can't forget that.
Oh, absolutely critical.
Yeah.
Before, during, after the fast, stay hydrated. Sometimes thirst really does masquerade as hunger.
Good point. You also mentioned some research about that first meal, high protein.
Right. There's evidence suggesting a high-protein first meal can actually improve your insulin response and might even reduce cravings later on.
So those first bites really set the tone for the rest of the day, hormonally speaking.
Precisely. You're giving your body the building blocks it needs, helping balance blood sugar right from the start. It sets you up better.
Okay, let's talk practical challenges. Social stuff, travel, those can really throw a wrench in the works for fasting schedules.
Definitely a common hurdle.
Yeah.
But the advice here is all about moving away from being super rigid.
The idea of social flexibility, I like that.
Yeah, because trying to stick to a strict fast at every single party or dinner out, it's tough. And maybe not even desirable.
Right, you don't want to isolate yourself. So strategies like maybe fasting before the event, skipping breakfast or lunch.
Or just making smarter choices at the event, eating lighter, focusing on protein and veg while still joining in. It allows you to keep your overall weekly rhythm going without stressing over one meal.
It's that consistency over perfection thing again, progress over strict adherence.
And adaptability, right? Viewing fasting as this flexible tool you can adjust, not some brittle set of rules that breaks easily. That's what makes it sustainable.
Okay, what about longer fasts? Like going beyond 24 hours, maybe 36.
Yeah, this needs a bit more caution. Longer fasts can have benefits, definitely, but they aren't for everyone and not for every situation. Self-awareness is key.
So checking in with yourself first, like, am I rested, hydrated, feeling mentally okay?
Exactly. Are you stressed out? Are you just trying to punish yourself for eating cake yesterday? That's not the
Yeah.
right headspace.
It should be a deliberate choice from a place of feeling, well, strong and prepared, not reactive.
Right. And there was an interesting little hack mentioned. Thinking about a longer fast, maybe after a day you've eaten more carbs.
Oh, yeah. Why was that?
The thinking is your glycogen stores, your readily available energy stores, will be fuller. So the body has more fuel to tap into during that extended fast, which might make it feel a bit easier, a strategic timing thing.
Interesting. Now, this next point really resonated. The power of why you're doing it, tying it to your identity.
Oh, this is huge for long-term success. It's
Yep.
moving beyond just willpower, which, let's face it, ebbs and flows.
So instead of just forcing it, you frame it as part of who you are.
Exactly. Like, I'm the kind of person who eats intentionally, or I prioritize my energy. It reframes the whole thing.
When it's tied to your self-image, it stops feeling like a restriction and more like just what you do, a natural expression of your
It
values.
internalizes the motivation,
Yeah.
makes it much more resilient when challenges pop up. Because it's not just a diet, it's part of you.
Okay, building on that integration idea, habit stacking, pairing fasting with other good habits.
Yeah, creating synergy,
Yeah.
making the benefits compound,
Like the examples. Fasting plus a quick walk for better glucose response,
or fasting plus a cold shower for alertness, maybe a little metabolic boost.
or even combining it with mindfulness stuff, deep breathing to lower stress, journaling for clarity.
Right. It shows how fasting isn't just this isolated thing. It can be an anchor habit that pulls other positive behaviors along with it. Helps you stay centered, physically and mentally.
But what happens when it feels like it's stopped working? You hit a plateau, the scale isn't moving, you don't feel as good.
Yeah, that definitely happens. Plateaus are normal in almost any health journey. The key is not to panic or just give up.
So there are reset strategies.
Absolutely. Things like switching up your eating window.
Mm.
Maybe try eating earlier if you usually eat late, or vice versa.
Okay, what else?
Adding some light activity like walks or yoga. Nothing too intense.
Yeah.
Really doubling down on sleep quality, making sure you're getting enough micronutrients.
And even maybe taking a break from fasting altogether for a bit, like a week off.
Sometimes, just to let your system reset. The big message is stalls happen. Look at the long-term trend, not just the day-to-day or week-to-week.
That takes the pressure off for sure. It's a dynamic process. Our bodies adapt.
They do. So you need to be willing to observe, tweak, and be patient.
Now, as people get more experience, does the need to track everything, hours, macros, ketones, does that change?
Often, yes. There tends to be a natural shift towards a more intuitive approach.
So less reliance on the apps and spreadsheets?
Exactly. Once the structure is solid and your body's adapted, you often develop a much better sense of your own signals. Real hunger versus habit hunger, energy level.
So you just kind of know what your body needs more.
You become more attuned. The phrase used was something like, the pros let intuition take over once the structure is built.
I like that. It's not abandoning structure, but layering intuition on top of it.
It becomes more embodied, less purely analytical, a natural rhythm like we talked about earlier.
Okay, last point, but maybe the most important for sticking with it. Enjoyment.
Absolutely crucial. If you dread your fasting routine, if it feels like constant punishment,
It's not going to last.
exactly.
Yeah?
Sustainability comes from finding a way to make it fit, finding your own flow with it, so it doesn't feel like this harsh, imposed thing.
When it feels comfortable, maybe even energizing, that's when it becomes less of a thing you do and more just part of how you live.
That's the real pro mindset, isn't it? Personalization, self-compassion, finding what genuinely works and feels good for you.
So wrapping this up, we've gone pretty deep today, beyond just the basics of fasting. And what really comes through is seeing fasting less as a diet and more as a tool.
A tool for feeling better, thinking clearer, having more energy.
Moving sharper, living a bit more deeply. And it's all grounded in experience, science, and what actually works in real life.
Yeah. By focusing on these rhythms over rigidity,
Yeah.
learning to navigate bumps in the road, fueling well, connecting it to your why, that's how you unlock those sustainable long-term benefits.
Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into taking fasting to the next level. Hopefully this gave you some useful things to think about for your own practice.
It's an ongoing journey. Always more to learn.
Definitely. Who knows where we'll go next time? Maybe fasting and running or performance or even how it fits with busy family life. Lots to explore. But until then, Stay curious, stay consistent.
And